you've got your feet shoulder width apart, one heel under each shoulder. Pick up your toes, turn it in as far as it'll go comfortably, and then make a mental note of where it's pointing. Then you're going to pick up your toes again, turn it as far out as it'll go comfortably, make a mental note of where that's pointing. And then you're going to find the middle. Now, for most people, that's going to be kind of 30 to 45 degrees off to the side, but it might not be, and it might not be the same on both sides. And if either of those things are happening for you, it's very, very helpful to know that. So go ahead and try it on one side and then try it on the other side. If you found the middle of your range of motion and you were at 30 to 45 degrees, you will not need to modify this. But if it was less than that or more than that, you'll need to rotate less or more for all of your kicks, not just your front kick. Then you're just going to point your feet at the middle of your range of motion. There are a couple interesting things about that position. Number one is if you have that position on your back foot and you just step straight forward with your other foot, that's a fighting position in very many styles, right? That's kind of where you're starting. Another interesting thing is that if you turn your foot out just like that, that is your optimal position for your standing foot for a front kick. So, and that'll work for all of your front kicks, whether it's the more snapping kind or the more pushing kind or the more piercing kind. That foot position is what you want. If you don't rotate enough on your front kick, I know that this is sometimes taught intentionally to point the toes straight forward and throw your front kick from there. That's not the worst thing in the world, but what tends to happen when you don't turn your foot enough is people will come up on their toes. So you get this kind of thing where you throw the kick and they'll come up on their toes, which again is not the worst thing in the world, but that will affect your balance. Like from a physics standpoint, what your balance is having your center of mass above the base. So if I've got 2 feet on the floor, my base is fairly large. But once I've got 1 foot on the floor, the base is the size of my foot. And if I've got only the ball of my foot touching the floor, I've just cut the size of my foot down to what, a third or a quarter, right? It can affect your balance. Again, not the worst thing in the world, but if you turn that foot out to that middle of your range of motion, again, for most people, that's kind of here, but maybe for you, it's more, maybe for you, it's less. Pointing that at the middle of your range of motion makes it very easy to keep that heel rooted on the ground. I want to talk about what happens if you turn too much. If the middle of your range of motion is here and you turn that foot to about 90 degrees, it's very easy to keep your balance. The problem is that you're changing your hip position and you are driving your body weight forward, but your knee doesn't bend that way. Your knee is really good at doing this. It's not so good at doing this. Train that way for a few days, that's not a big deal, but if you train that way for years and years and years, that can do some really nasty things to your knees. Getting your pivots right for all of your kicks will do a lot to protect your knees. I've known very many martial artists who have trained for many years and developed knee problems as a result. And I've even known people who thought that, oh, you train in martial arts, it's inevitable you're going to have knee problems. It's not inevitable, but you do have to move in a way that takes care of your body.